organs are made up of tissues that are clustered together in the body. The brain, heart, lungs, kidneys, and liver are among them. Each organ in the body has a distinct shape and is made up of many types of tissue that operate together. The heart, for example, is mostly made up of a particular form of muscle tissue that contracts in a rhythmic pattern to supply the heart's pumping motion.
To understand the history, you must be able to think like the people of the time period you are studying did, as much as possible. The experience of being a peasant in the Middle Ages is presented as an example. However, our senses evolve throughout time, and we can't entirely abandon our current mindset. As a result, no matter what the facts are, every age will have a somewhat different viewpoint on the same period of history.
Used materials are turned into new goods when we recycle, minimizing the need for natural resources. If used materials cannot be recycled, new items are created by mining and forestry to harvest fresh, raw materials from the earth. Recycling aids in the conservation of vital raw materials and the preservation of natural environments in the future.
The beautiful framework of mature trees creates a secluded implants ambience that brings together a wide array of vegetation to captivate visitors throughout the year. The leafing and flowering of trees, as well as the eruption of flowers in the bulb meadows and woods understory, are all signs of spring in the garden.
Wordsworth was an outspoken opponent of the steam train's arrival in the Lake District in the early 19th century, claiming that it would degrade the area's natural beauty. Meanwhile, Blake condemned the Industrial Revolution's dark satanic mills. Conservation of the natural environment, on the other hand, did not become a big political issue until lately.
Despite its origins in a remote part of the western Himalayas, this plant now thrives on the banks of English rivers. It was introduced to the United Kingdom in 1839 and swiftly escaped Victorian gardens, colonizing river banks and wet forests. It has now spread throughout Europe, New Zealand, Canada, and the United States.
Fishing is a sport and a means for surviving. Fishing is a sport and a means for surviving.
The Economics Faculty Building is located on the City Road. The Economics Faculty Building is located on the City Road.
We can discuss education in the tutorial next week. We can discuss education in the tutorial next week.
The minimum mark for distinction grade is no less than 75%. The minimum mark for distinction grade is no less than 75%.
The library is located on the north side of the campus. The library is located on the north side of the campus.
Many health workers think that pensioners are too old to understand. Many health workers think that pensioners are too old to understand.
The wheelchair lift has been upgraded this month. The wheelchair lift has been upgraded this month.
All applications of internship are available in the office. All applications of internship are available in the office.
Despite the cold temperature, the sky is clear and blue. Despite the cold temperature, the sky is clear and blue.
He would yell if he was interrupted while painting. He would yell if he was interrupted while painting.
The estimated population of Australia is depicted as a line graph in millions. The graphic shows that the Series A has drastically expanded from 20 in 2001 to 65 in 2101. From then on, Series B gradually rose from 20 to 45, from 2001 to 2101. Series C, on the other hand, slowly climbed from 20 to 35 throughout the same time span. In conclusion, it is anticipated that Australia's population will grow in the years to come.
Information regarding passengers on domestic airlines is provided in the graph below. Intercapital, leisure, and all are among the items. This graph indicates that the overall value is close to 2, with intercapital having a greater value of close to 2.5. This graph demonstrates that mining exposed has the greatest value of, which is about 8. This graph also shows that leisure has the lowest value. In conclusion, distinct values are held by passengers on airplanes.
How to download music from Tesco Extra is detailed in the graph below. It demonstrates the procedure in action. Search, buy, download, and play are the steps. This graph suggests that the initial step be an online search for the music you enjoy. The second step, according to this graph, is to make a purchase through the website. This graph demonstrates that the third phase involves downloading music into digital devices like laptops and smartphones. After completing these steps, the last step is to simply enjoy the songs. Finally, the procedure will be repeated.
The population of Thurlby as a whole from 1870 to 2010 is depicted in the graph below. A blue line represents the information. It begins at 275 in 1870 before dropping to a minimum of 100 in 1950. There are some peaks and valleys during the increase. There is a dramatic growth after 1950, reaching a peak of 325 in 1970. Following that, the population again starts to decline quickly, reaching 150 in 1990. After then, the population remains largely stable and reaches its peak in 2010 at around 150. In summary, this graph provides a great deal of detail regarding Thurlby's population.
I'll just pick up where things left off. Melatonin is the name of the hormone I want to discuss right now. The tiny pineal gland, where the synthesis takes place, is located. Your brain contains a pea-sized object. Melatonin is produced there, and Descartes referred to it as the place of the soul. Additionally, it has a beat. It is also the antithesis of cortisol in that way. It increases at night. It is known as the hormone of darkness. Melatonin is a nighttime hormone found in all the species we studied. And hormone is what gets you ready for what your species does at night. Therefore, whereas animals like rodents are awake, humans do sleep. So, it's a hormone that affects how people behave in the dark.
Imagine that I'm asking you which informational source you turn to most frequently. Newspaper? Radio? And according to the report, 62% of respondents choose the internet. You might be anticipating me to discuss the significance of the internet or how swiftly it has altered the world in recent years. What if I told you that this survey was carried out on the Globe and Mail.com websites? We'll provide a different response. Because those who completed the survey online must be avid internet users. This sample contains bias. Therefore, it is important to consider the survey's methodology.
Where can we find the page numbers of books? Where can we find the page numbers of books?
What are the people that plant food, raise crop commonly known as? What are the people that plant food, raise crop commonly known as?
What do we call the first paragraph of a report? What do we call the first paragraph of a report?
What is the opposite of the word public? What is the opposite of the word public? Which one is quicker? Running, jogging, or walking? Which one is quicker? Running, jogging, or walking?
What is the nominal form of the wide? What is the nominal form of the wide?